Hi Manya. So today we are going to start our new chapter, that is enzyme, and in this chapter we are going to start with 4.1, that is enzyme action. Okay. So before starting this enzyme, okay, do you know what do you mean by enzyme? What is the definition of enzyme?
It's a biological catalyst.
Yeah, biological catalyst. So like in our chemical reaction, we have catalyst which increase or it may decrease the chemical reaction, or basically we can say the rate of in, which increase the rate or which decrease the rate of a chemical reaction. So in this
Yeah.
way, whenever the chemical reactions are inside our body, or you can say is there if there is any biological chemical reaction, biochemical reaction, so the substance which increase or decrease that rate, how quickly or how late a reaction can be occurred. So that thing which is going to affect that particular rate is known as enzyme. Okay, basically they are proteins, nothing, they are proteins only. Okay, ji. So now why are enzyme important? Now most of the processes necessary of life involve chemical reaction, and these reactions need to happen very fast. In the laboratory or in the industry, this would demand a very high temperature and pressure, and these extreme conditions are not possible in living cells. So they would damage the cell components. Instead, reactions are catalyzed by the enzymes. So as we know that in our day-to-day life, we want the reaction to be occur fast. Sometimes in some reactions, we require high temperature and high pressure. And if
So can you give me 1 second? I just need to get something really quickly.
yeah, sure. So as we know that in our day-to-day life, whatever the chemical reactions are there, we need some sort of high temperature and pressure to for that particular reaction. Okay, but these extreme conditions are not possible inside our body. We can't provide high temperature. If you provide high temperature, all the cells and the tissues will damage. Or if high pressure is there, our blood vessels may burst. So these high temperature and pressure things are compensated by the enzyme, okay, which can increase or decrease a chemical reaction. Got it? Here?
Yeah, yeah.
So enzymes are biological catalysts. They are globular protein that interact with the substrate molecule, causing them to react at much faster rate without the need of harsh environment conditions. Got it?
Yeah.
And without enzyme, many of these processes necessary to life would not be possible. So enzymes are biocatalysts and basically they are globular protein. Remember globular protein we discussed in our last lecture? It's the protein which is in the form of the small globules, that is a spherical ball. Fine.
Yeah.
And these globular protein interact with the substrate molecule and react them, or you can say whatever the decomposition or whatever the any change is needed to the particular thing or the particular substance, they do it. And they compensate the harsh environment required for that particular change. Clear?
Yeah.
So that is why enzymes are important. So in one word or in one line, what you can say why enzymes are important? Because enzyme replace the harsh condition required for the chemical reaction. So that's why in order to make all the biochemical reactions possible, we require enzymes. Or that is what the importance of enzymes. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, ji. Now, next paragraph is role of enzyme in a reaction. Now, how enzymes are doing this? Now, one thing you have to remember that enzymes are the one which only participate in chemical reaction. Okay, they participate in the chemical reaction and does not have any change into themselves. They are not going to produce anything. They are just a initiator, or you can say they are just a rate incrementer. They just increase or decrease the rate. They are not doing anything else. Their participation is that only. Okay. So living organisms need to build and maintain. This involves synthesis of large polymer-based components. For example, cellulose forms the wall of a plant cell, and a long protein molecule forms a contractile filaments of muscles in animals. Okay, the different cell components are synthesized and assembled into cells, which then form tissues, organs, eventually the whole organism. Chemical reactions required for the growth are anabolic, that is building up reactions, and they are catalyzed by the enzymes. So whenever if there is a living organism, the living organism had two main things. That is, they need to grow up and they need to maintain them. And for the both growing up and for the maintenance part, we require enzymes. Clear? For example, they have given the example that in case of cellulose, it is also, and you can say it is forms walls in the plant, the contractile filament in the muscles in the animals, different cell components are synthesized into different cells, tissues, organs. All these things of you can say the whole organism. They require some chemical reaction for their growth and for their building up, and these chemical reactions are catalyzed by the enzymes. Clear? Got it? Is it clear, Manya? I can't hear you. Okay. Now energy is constantly. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Now energy is constantly required for the majority of living processes, including growth. Energy is released from a large molecules like glucose, metabolic pathways consisting of many catabolic, that is catabolic means breaking down reaction. Now catabolic reactions are also catalyzed by the enzyme. Now whenever we eat food, now this food we eat for what? Why we are eating food? To get some energy. So now from that food, that is suppose we are having a glucose. So this glucose is converted into some energy part. This energy part is known as a catabolic, that is breaking up reactions are there, and these catabolic reactions are catalyzed by enzyme. Got it?
Yeah.
Now these large organic molecules are obtained from the digestion of food made up of even larger organic molecules such as starch. Digestion also is catalyzed by the range of enzymes. Now suppose if you are eating a carrot, if you are drinking milk, so all these milk, carrot, and they contain some protein, vitamins, and they contain some carbohydrates, starch, anything. So all these things get into a smaller component. They are a larger organic molecules. They digested into, or you can say they decompose into small molecules, and eventually it will give you energy. So all these reactions for the digestion of different starch, different food particles is catalyzed by the good range of enzymes. Okay, reactions rarely happen in isolation, but as a part of multi-step pathways. Metabolism is the sum of the different reactions and reactions pathway happening in cell or an organism. Now see, reaction rarely happen in isolation, but as a part of multi-step pathway. What do you mean by this thing? That reaction only, the reaction is not like only a one reaction is there. Suppose if you want to go from place A to place B, it's not a direct flight. You have to, you can say, break your journey. Got it? In
Yeah.
the same way, the reactions rarely happen in isolation. Suppose it's not like that if you eat an apple and then apple carbohydrate converts into energy directly. No, first it break into a six, suppose it's a six carbon molecule, then it break into three will break into two will break into one will give energy. So it is a multi-step pathway. Like that, suppose if you want to go to Delhi, so there is no direct flight, you have to break your journey step by step. Clear?
Yeah.
And this step by step, you can say multi-step pathway is known as metabolism. So metabolism is the sum of all the different reactions and reaction pathway happening in the cell or organism, and it can only happen as a result of control and order imposed by the enzymes. And this metabolism is controlled by, or you can say imposed by, enzymes. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So from this paragraph, you can get the question, what do you mean by metabolism? Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
This is metabolism pathway. In this paragraph, catabolic activity is important. And in this paragraph, we have anabolic activity. So in catabolic, anabolic, and metabolism, in all the three cases, enzymes are required. Anabolic means building up of a organism, growth of an organism. Clear?
Yeah.
Catabolic means breaking down reactions, metabolic pathways, breaking down reactions for getting the energy. Clear? This is catabolic one. Fine. And
Yeah.
all these reactions which are in the multi-step pathway are known as metabolism. So metabolism is a sum of all the different reaction and reaction pathways happening in the cell or organism. Whatever the chemical reactions are going inside our body are known as metabolism. That's why whenever sometimes we have some sort of stomach problem, we say, na, yeah, metabolism bigad gaya, the metabolism is not good, his metabolism is weak. What do you mean by this thing? So whatever we are eating, whatever we are drinking, that particular thing is not digested by, or the enzymes are not working properly in order to get the desired result. Clear? Or you can say
Yeah.
that this multi-step pathway is disturbed. Okay? Got it? Yes, Vanya, is that clear? Any doubt?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Now, just like reactions in laboratory, the speed at which different cellular reaction proceeds varies considerably and is usually dependent on the environmental condition. Again, whenever we are doing any reaction in a laboratory, so it depends upon the environmental condition. The temperature, pressure, and the pH may all have an effect on the rate of chemical reaction. In a similar manner, enzymes can only increase the rate of reaction up to a certain point called as Vmax, that is maximum initial velocity or rate of enzyme catalyst reaction. So this is important. In this case, they are telling us about the Vmax, maximum velocity that can be attained, or you can say how quickly we can do a chemical reaction. Okay, so this is up to a certain limit. It's not like that if you are increasing the things, it will increase. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Suppose if you are eating 20 eggs at one time, then you will able to lift 100 kg of anything. You can lift up 100 kg. No, it is not like that. Your eating of food is not directly proportional to the amount of weight you can lift. Okay.
Yeah.
So it means that whatever food you are eating, the body will consume that only. In a similar manner, that enzyme can work up to a certain limit. They can increase the rate of reaction up to a certain limit, and that limit is known as maximum initial velocity, that is Vmax. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we will study about mechanism of enzyme action. Now, molecules in a solution move and collide randomly for, okay, just tell me one thing. Is there any doubt in this one? Role of enzyme reaction?
No.
Got it? Everything is clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will send this to you. Fine. I will send this whole thing, whatever I'm underlining it now. I will send this
Yeah.
to you. Okay, this will help you. So what we have to, you can say, important point in this particular paragraph. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is important mechanism of enzyme action. Now molecule in a solution move and collide randomly. For a reaction to happen, molecules need to collide in a right orientation. When high temperature and pressure are applied, the speed of molecule will increase. Therefore, so will the number of successful collision and the overall rate of reaction will increase. Now, this mechanism depends upon a theory known as a collision theory. According to collision theory, whenever two things collide, suppose there is a molecule A and this is molecule B, this is A molecule and this is B molecule. Now, as per the collision theory, if these A or B molecule collide, then only reaction will happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And whenever they are colliding, there are two types of collision. The one is a successful collision or it may be an unsuccessful collision. Fine.
Yeah.
Now, as the rate of collision increases, the probability of getting a successful collision increases. And this rate of collision will increase whenever we are increasing temperature and pressure. Because temperature contribute towards the kinetic energy of a molecule. As the temperature increases, kinetic energy increases means motion increases. And as the pressure increases, the volume also decreases. As the pressure increases, volume decreases, and hence the successful collision or the rate of, or we can say the probability of getting a successful collision will increase. And as the successful collision increases, the overall rate of reaction also increases. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, Ji. Now, many different enzymes are produced by living organisms. As such, enzyme catalyzes one biochemical reaction, of which there are thousands in given cell. This term is as a specificity of the enzyme. This term is the specificity of the enzyme. Okay, now specific. What do you mean by word specific?
Like a little one.
Like a little one? What? Like especially for the
Like,
one?
yes.
Specific. Specific means especially for the one. So now again, I'm reading it. Many different enzymes are produced by living organisms, as each enzyme catalyzes one biochemical reaction, of which there are thousands in the given, of which there are thousands in any given cell. This is termed as specificity of the enzyme. For example, we have a lock and a key. So for every lock, there is a special key or there is a separate key. Clear? That it means it is specific.
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So specificity. In this paragraph, you have to learn the word specificity. Fine?
Yeah.
The energy needs to be supplied for most reaction to start, and this is known as activation energy. So activation energy is the energy which is required to kickstart the thing, to start the thing. Sometimes the amount of energy needed is also large. It prevents the reaction from happening under normal conditions. Now, sometimes this activation energy is so large that it will not allow the reaction to happen. Now, enzymes help the molecule to collide successfully and therefore reduces the activation energy required. And there are two hypotheses for the enzyme to do this. So we will study these hypotheses, how this thing happens. This paragraph is clear, activation energy and this one specificity.
Yeah.
Do I need to tell it again?
No, it's clear.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So enzyme is specific in nature. Okay. So there is a specificity of enzyme, and enzymes sometimes also decrease the activation energy so that there will be a successful collision and hence the reaction will take place. And for this thing, how an enzyme can decreasing the how an enzyme can increasing the colloidal theory, or how it can decreasing the activation energy. We have two hypotheses for this. The first one is lock and key hypothesis. The first one is lock and key hypothesis. Okay. Now, what is this lock and key hypothesis? An area within the tertiary structure of an enzyme has a shape that is complementary to the shape of the specific substrate molecule, and this area is known as active site. Okay. Now, suppose this is a substrate molecule. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, enzyme plus substrate gives you enzyme substrate complex, and again it will give you enzyme plus product. Okay, think over that. Suppose, wait. Now, what they are saying, there is an area within the territory of the enzyme has a shape that is complementary to the shape of the specific substrate molecule. So, sorry, this is the substrate molecule shape.
Yeah.
Here, okay, and this substrate molecule combines at active site with the enzyme. The enzyme combines with the substrate molecule at active site. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the area through which the substrate molecule combines with the enzyme is known as active site.
Yeah.
Got it? Now,
Yeah.
chemical reaction took place and the product is formed and the enzyme molecule is separated. So enzyme plus substrate gives you an enzyme substrate complex, and reaction took place and product is released and enzyme will be safe to go without any chemical change. Clear?
Yeah.
You can clearly see the
Yeah.
substrate fits into the active site of the enzyme, forming an enzyme substrate complex where the reaction takes place and the products are released. So this is the substrate molecule. It goes to enzyme molecule. Enzyme molecule changes active site free to another substance. So this makes the enzyme substrate complex. Chemical reaction took place and it gives you product. It gives you product molecule, and there is again enzyme molecule is free. Now again, one more substrate will come, reaction will take place, and it will give you product molecule. Clear? So hence we can
Yeah.
say that one enzyme is used again and again. And this whole activity or whole theory is known as a lock and key hypothesis. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, now again I'm reading it. In the same way that only right key will fit into the lock. For example, suppose you have one lock at home. Fine. Okay, and in your home you have four rooms. And suppose you want to close your bedroom. So you take the lock and close the bedroom. Fine. You came again.
Yeah.
Okay. And suppose whenever you are going somewhere, you want to close your drawing room. So you put the lock over drawing room and you can go. There's nothing in the other room. Suppose you are going somewhere, you want to close your kitchen. So you just put the lock over kitchen and you can go. So every time you are protecting a new thing, it means a new product is formed. But the lock combines with the substrate. Substrate is your new area. Clear?
Yeah.
Lock is like an enzyme. This enzyme combines with the substrate molecule and form a enzyme substrate complex, and then reaction will take place in the substrate molecule and it is removed as a product, and enzyme will remain enzyme only without any change. Clear hogi baat? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Got it? Sure?
Yeah. Got it.
Okay ji. Hanji. So when, okay, now you can see in the same way, the right key will fit into the lock, only a specific substance will fit the active site of an enzyme. This is lock and key hypothesis. When a substance is bound to the active site, an enzyme substrate complex is formed. The substrate or substrates then react and the product or products are formed in an enzyme product complex. Clear? The substrate or substrates then react with the product or products. Then react and the product or products are formed.
Yeah.
So if there is a one substrate, one product is formed. If there are so many substrates are there, then so many products are formed in an enzyme product complex. Okay, the product or the products are released, leaving the enzyme unchanged and able to take part in subsequent reactions. The product or products are then released leaving the enzyme unchanged. Again, the enzyme remain unchanged, and this enzyme is now free to take part in other chemical reaction. Now it is free to take part with the, or you can say it can now convert the other substrate. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Ji. The substrate is held in such a way that enzyme that is right atom group are close enough to react. The substrate is held in such a way by the enzyme that at the right atom group are close enough to react. Means whatever the substrate attached to a enzyme in such a way that whatever the right atoms which need to be react are closed enough to react for a reaction. The R group within the active site of the enzyme will also interact with the substrate, forming a temporary bond. These put strains on the bond within the substrate, which also helps in reaction along. So there is a R group within the active site of the, you can say, enzyme that will interact with the substrate, forming some temporary bonds. And whenever we put strain on the bonds within the substrate, which also helps in the reaction along. So it also helps in the whatever the reaction is going on. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt in lock and key hypothesis?
No.
So you have to remember 3 points. Enzyme first combine with substrate and forms an enzyme substrate complex. Then in enzyme substrate complex, chemical reaction took place and we get enzyme and product is formed. Clear?
No.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have induced fit hypothesis. Now, induced fit hypothesis, this is again interesting one. Now see, more recently, evidences from the research into enzyme action suggest that active site of enzyme actually changes shape slightly as the substrate enters. Now, this active site changes as the substrate enters, and this is known as induced fit hypothesis. That is induced fit hypothesis. For example, have you ever heard skin fit trousers या फिर skin fit t-shirts? Have you ever heard of these skin fit t-shirts and skin fit trousers? So skin fit t-shirt and trouser, what do you mean by this thing? So whatever the shape of it takes the shape of the person to whosoever is wearing this. Clear?
Yeah.
It means there is slight change in the particular this thing, the particular structure. Fine.
Yeah.
In a similar manner, whenever enzyme action suggests to the active site of the enzyme, actually there is a change, there is a shape slightly as the enzyme enters, as the substrate enters. Is that clear now?
Yeah.
I'm again repeating. More
it's clear.
Evidences from the research into enzyme action suggest that the active site of the enzyme actually changes slightly as the substrate enters. And this is known as induced fit hypothesis and is a modified version of lock and key hypothesis. It's a little bit modification in lock and key hypothesis. Now see, the initial interaction between the enzyme and the substrate is relatively weak. The initial interaction between the enzyme and the substrate is relatively weak, but these weak interactions rapidly induce changes in the enzyme territory structure. For example, suppose if you are wearing a new belly, so whenever you are wearing it for the first time, little bit the shoe tries to cut your foot or it's a little bit difficult. But as soon as you are wearing, after 2 or 3 days, it takes the shape of your foot. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And you will feel comfortable?
Yeah.
The same thing is there. Initially, the interaction between the enzyme and the substrate. Suppose your foot is a substrate and your belly is your enzyme. The bond is relatively weak, but these weak interactions rapidly induce changes. Now, as you are using it, your belly changes and it takes the shape of your foot. And as rapidly the induced changes in the enzyme territory surfaces, that strengthening the binding putting strain on the substrate molecule. This can weaken a particular bond or the bonds in the substrate, therefore lowering the activation energy of the reaction. Clear?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
I'm again
Right.
repeating it. The initial
It's like,
interaction, wait, just let me repeat it. The initial interaction between the enzyme and substrate is relatively weak, but these weak interactions rapidly induce changes in enzyme territory structure. Okay, there's a change in enzyme territory structure that strengthen binding, that increase the binding, that increase the strength of the binding, putting strain on the substrate molecule. And this weakens a particular bond or bonds in the substrate. And therefore, the activation energy is lowered down. Clear?
yeah.
Is that clear? Got it? Any doubt?
No.
So it is almost a little bit of modification. Fine?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Ji. Now we have intracellular enzymes. Now, intracellular, what do you mean by intra? Within.
Yeah. Within.
So within the cellular. So enzymes have an essential role in both the structure and the function of the cell and the whole organism, that we already know it. Fine.
Yeah.
The synthesis of polymer from the monomer, for example, making polysaccharides from glucose requires enzymes. Now polysaccharides from glucose is a 6-carbon one. In glucose is a one saccharide. When so many glucose are combined together, they form polysaccharides. Clear?
Yeah.
So enzyme is required in both structure and the function of the cell. Okay. The synthesis of polymer from the monomer, for example, making of this polysaccharide. Now, enzyme can act within the cell are known as intracellular enzymes. So those enzymes which are working within a one cell, these are applicable to this cell only, are known as intracellular enzymes. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now we will see hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide formula is H2O2. Okay, so H2O2 is a toxic product of many metabolic pathways. Toxic means it's a poisonous one. The enzyme catalysis ensures hydrogen peroxide is broke into oxygen and water quickly. Now, whenever there's a metabolic pathways or metabolic reactions are there, they are going to produce H2O2. Fine. Now there is a one enzyme known as catalase. Now catalase does what? It converts this H2O into H2O2 into H2O plus O2, so that it will not be a toxic one.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Therefore, preventing its accumulation, and it is found that plant and animal, it is found in both plant and animal tissue. And if this thing will not happen, if catalase is not working properly, then we will get some problem. The problem can be anything.
Yeah.
Got it? Any doubt?
No. No.
Intracellular enzymes, is that clear? So
So this
catalase,
all happens inside the cell.
yes. So this all is happening inside one
So,
particular cell. That's why they are intracellular.
so inside the cell, the enzyme catalase, it breaks hydrogen peroxide into oxygen and water.
Yes. So that
Okay.
it prevents the accumulation of hydrogen peroxide, which is a toxic product, and it may hamper the metabolic pathway.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, Ji. Then we have extracellular enzyme. Extracellular enzyme that works beyond the particular cell. So all the reactions happening within the cell need substrate, that is raw material. Substrate means raw material to make product needed for the organism. Now a cell requires some energy. They have to, you can say, do some work. So how they are going to do work? From where they are getting the energy? So all the reactions happening within the cell need substrate to make products needed for the organism. And these raw materials need to be constantly supplied to cells. to keep up the demand. Okay. And the nutrients that is a common necessarily for survival and growth are present in a diet or environment of the organism supply these materials. Is that point clear?
Can you repeat from the top?
Wait. I will repeat. The topic is extracellular enzyme. Now, for the reactions happening within cell need substrate. Now, if a reaction is happening within the cell or anywhere, so that cell requires some sort of energy, which is provided by the substrate, raw material, okay, to make product needed by the organism. And this substrate is used to make the product, which are consumed by the organism. So substrate is a sort of a raw material, which is needed constantly, which need to be constantly supplied to cells to keep them in demand. Okay. Now cell requires a continuous energy. So it means that energy or that substrate need to be continuously supplied to the cells in order to keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
Fine. If demand is not there, the cell will not feel good. It will get tired. Okay. Sometimes we feel more tiredness, and this is why we are feeling tiredness, because the raw material is not proper. Okay. So nutrient, that is components necessary for survival and growth present in the diet or the environment of the organism supply these materials. So nutrients are the components necessary for the survival and the growth, which are present in the diet or environment of the organism supply these materials. Clear?
Yeah.
That this particular nutrients are present in the diet, or you can say they are present in the environment of the organism supply these materials. Now, nutrients are often in the form of polymers such as protein and polysaccharides. And these large polysaccharide molecules cannot enter cell directly through the cell membrane, surface membrane. They need to be broken down into small components first. So large molecules cannot enter the body directly. They need to be break down. Fine?
Yeah.
Suppose if you want to ask your dad, okay, dad, give me 5,000 euro. So if you ask directly 5,000 euro, your dad is not going to give you. If you ask 100 so many times, one by one, if you save money, then eventually at one time you will have all the money. Clear?
Yeah.
So in the same way, the large molecule cannot enter the body directly. They need to be break down into smaller components. Then only they will move. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And to break down into smaller components, it means what we require? Enzymes. So enzymes are released from the cells to break down these large nutrients. Okay. So enzymes are released from the cells to break down these large nutrient molecules into smaller molecules in a process of digestion. And these enzymes are known as extracellular enzymes. These enzymes are known as extracellular enzymes, and they work outside the cell that made them. Some organisms, for example, fungi, they work outside the body. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, both single-celled and the multicellular organism rely on the extracellular enzyme to make the use of polymer for nutrition. So this system is in both single-celled as well as in the multicellular. But both require them. Now, single-celled organisms such as bacteria, yeast, release enzymes into their immediate environment. Single-celled organisms like bacteria and yeast release the enzyme into their immediate environment. The enzyme break down larger molecules such as protein and the smaller molecules produced, such as amino acids and glucose. That single cell produce bacteria and yeast, and it can be immediately break down into smaller products, that is amino acids and glucose, and then it is absorbed by the cell. Clear?
Yeah.
But in the case of multicellular organisms eat food to gain nutrient. We have to eat food, although the nutrients are taken into the digestive system The large molecules will still have to digest, so the small molecules can be absorbed by the bloodstream. Okay, so small molecules can be absorbed by the bloodstream. From there, they are transported around the body to be used as a substrate in cellular reactions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. For example, extracellular enzymes involved in digestion in the human are amylase and trypsin. So amylase and trypsin are working as a extracellular enzyme. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
Can I ask 3 questions?
Yes, yes, yes. You can
So
ask any number of questions. Okay.
extracellular happens
What?
inside the cells. It happens inside the
Yes, yes, yes.
inside the cells,
Yes, yes.
and it just wait 1 second.
Mhm.
Uh, so like,
Yes.
does it release? So the extracellular enzyme, does it come out of the cell to make the polymers into monomers?
The examples of these are the enzymes which are present in the outer of the cell. They are not present inside the cell. They are present outer, but help in the metabolism of a particular cell. Clear?
Yeah.
Tina, many multicellular organisms eat food and gain nutrients. Although the nutrients are taken into the digestive system, the nutrients are taken into the digestive system, means they are taken from the outside. The large molecule will have to digest, so smaller molecules can be absorbed into bloodstream. Fine.
Yeah.
So these large particles are break down into smaller ones so that they can be absorbed in the bloodstream. From there, they
Okay.
can be transported around the body and can be used as a substrate in cellular reaction. And these ends can be used as a substrate. Got it?
Yeah.
And substrate can provide you energy when it reacts with enzyme, productive, product and enzyme again. Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
No.
Okay.
So I think
Yes.
the time is up.
Okay,
It's
time is
been,
up now. Okay, fine.
yeah.
Okay, so we will okay, wait, just let me check. Digestion of starch is there. Yeah, we have this thing only. Shall we finish this? It will take hardly 5 more minutes. 5 4 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
It will be good if you finish this, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, you have fine. We
Yeah,
can
it's
manage.
okay.
We can manage. Only hardly it will take 10 minutes. We can manage this so that our one topic is finished now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So now we are going to study digestion of starch. Now, how starch is digested inside our body? The digestion of starch begins in mouth and continues in the small intestine. So starch digestion starts in mouth and it continues up to small intestine. Clear? Starch
Yeah.
is digested in 2 steps. The first one involving 2 different enzymes. The different enzymes are needed because each enzyme only catalyzes one specific reaction. It means for the digestion of starch, that is, okay, what do you mean by digestion? Basically, digestion is decomposition. That is breakdown of bigger organic molecule into the smaller molecules so that it can enter into our bloodstream and can be supplied to the whole body. Clear?
Yeah.
That is known as what? Digestion. Now, starch digestion involves 2 steps. Why they involve 2 steps? Because different enzymes are needed. And because each enzyme only catalyzes only one type of reaction. That is for the specificity of reaction. We studied the specificity of reaction. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, starch polymers are partially broken down into maltose. First, starch is broken into maltose, clear?
Yeah.
Which is a disaccharide. Fine.
Yeah.
Now, the enzyme involved in this stage is known as amylase. So, starch to maltose is done by amylase. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, amylase is produced by the salivary glands and the pancreas. So what are the salivary glands? Saliva. थूक आता ना हमारे
Yeah.
मुंह में. Saliva.
Yeah.
So amylase are produced by salivary glands and pancreas. It releases in saliva into the mouth and pancreatic juice into the large intestine, into the small intestine. Clear?
Yeah.
So starch digestion takes place in the mouth. It is released in the saliva into the mouth and pancreatic juice into the small intestine. So this amylase is introduced with the food at two places. The first one in the mouth, it is released in saliva, and in the pancreatic juice, again there is amylase, which help in the which takes place in small intestine. Clear?
Yeah.
So two places are there. Got it?
Yeah.
Now second is, now this maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide. It means it contains two saccharides. Is broken into a glucose, which is a monosaccharide. Now maltose converts into glucose, and the enzyme involved in this known as maltase. Maltase is the enzyme. Now maltase is present in the small intestine. It is present in small intestine. Clear?
Yeah.
Now glucose is small enough to be absorbed by the cell's lining, the digestion system, and subsequently absorbed into the bloodstream. Now glucose is that smallest, you can say, substance that can be absorbed by the cell lining, and it can directly mix with our bloodstream. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
So from starch, that is a polysaccharide, first it converts into a disaccharide, that is maltose, with the help of amylase. And this maltose then break into glucose with the help of a enzyme known as maltase in small intestine. And this glucose can be directly absorbed by our blood. Got it? Any doubt?
No.
Sure? Pakka na?
Yeah.
Okay, so last topic for the day, digestion of protein. Now, trypsin is a protease, a type of enzyme that catalyzes the direct digestion of protein into smaller peptides. Now, protein is digested by the trypsin. So, trypsin is a protease. Protease means the one which is going to digest protein. It's a type of enzyme that catalyzes the direct digestion of protein into smaller peptides. A protein converts into peptide. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember polypeptides, protein, amino acid, polypeptide one. So this is what that we have this now. Okay. Now which can be broken further into amino acid. So protein to peptide, peptides to amino acid. And trypsin is produced in the pancreas. Now pancreas, this is the pancreas. So these pancreas produces trypsin, which is a type of enzyme that catalyzes the digestion of protein into smaller peptides. Clear?
Yeah.
And this trypsin is produced by the pancreas and released with the pancreatic juice in the small intestine. And it comes in the small intestine where it acts on the protein. So at what site? Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Now,
audible.
yeah, yes. Okay. So where does this act of, what is the site of protein digestion? Small intestine is the site of protein digestion. The amino acids that are produced by the action of protease are absorbed by the cells lining the digestive system and then absorbed into the bloodstream. Now, amino acid is the smallest one, which is directly absorbed by the bloodstream. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So homework is these 4 questions. You have to do these 4 questions. Clear?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is all in our topic. Okay, beta?
Okay.